Hey there. There we go. I'm finally connected. Hi there. I'm Vicki O'Neill, the host of the Marketing Stream, which is where we are today. So thank you so much for joining me today. It looks like we have some people waiting in the waiting room. Consult a Blind Guide, thank you so much for being here. We've got Diana as well. And we've got Fun Will Now Commence. So thank you so much for joining me today. It looks like I have my two moderators here today. Diana and Consult a Blind Guy. I know that we had a challenging time last week with some trolls and some interesting comments that were left. So hopefully we won't have that today, but I am so appreciative of you guys being here and helping moderate those comments. Fun will now commence. Thank you for being here as well. Ooh, I see you now. Awesome. I can see now that I'm connected. So this is the Marketing Stream, a live stream that I do every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I focus on different marketing related topics, sometimes sales topics, and sometimes I even have a guest. So today I'm going to focus on associating your marketing initiatives with your business plan. This is something that I talk about all the time, that whatever you're doing with your marketing, you should always be tying those strategies and those tactics and just everything that you're doing with your marketing back to one of your business goals. So I'm going to show at a very high level what that looks like, because this could become a very, very in-depth conversation if we got too deep in the weeds. So this is more or less just to kind of provide some moments of, clarity, creating some ideas that you can do for research, and even putting some perspective on the importance of not only knowing who your ideal target customer is, which is the number one thing in any business plan if you go through and start looking at them, but then also the type of marketing that you need to do in order to be where your ideal customers are. So I'm going to use an actual, like some snippets from an actual business plan for a plumbing contractor in order to kind of put things in perspective as well. So instead of just being hypothetical about it, I thought it would be easier and more helpful to show an actual example. The name has been removed, but I just thought it would be easier than just, kind of going through the how-to. So if you have questions, of course, leave them in the chat. If you are watching the replay, you can leave them in the comments. I will respond as soon as I see your message. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification so you are notified when I go live, as well as when I upload my new videos every week on Thursday. If you're returning, like Diana, Fun Will Now Commence, Consult a Blind Guy, Monique with Silver Paw Studio. Matt's here again this week. Thank you for joining us, Matt. So just make sure that you hit the like button. If you're here now, if you're watching the replay, if you like the video, don't forget to do that as well. So again, if you guys didn't hear me, because I know sometimes there's a delay in the connection between when I actually go live on my end and when you guys see me, I want to say thank you very much to Consult a Blind Guy and Diana for volunteering to be my I keep wanting to say my collaborators, the monitors for watching all the comments. I can't find that word right now. So I just want to say thank you very much for volunteering to do that. Hopefully we won't have the trolls that we did last week, but you just never know, and we'll work through it when we get there, or if we ever get there. So saying hi to a few more people. Thank you again. No problem. I appreciate you. Everybody's saying hi to each other in the comments. So thanks for doing that. Awesome. All right. Well, if you guys have been at the live shows, if you've been with the live streams, if you listen to my podcast, if you read any of my blogs, or just hear anything that I talk about, I always talk about the importance of your marketing strategy. Number one thing that needs to do is have your ideal customers identified. Okay, so if you look at any business plan, whether it's a template, it's a simplified version, if it's a really detailed version, when you start really digging into your business plan, one of the first things that you need to understand is who your ideal customers are. Because everything else that you do, whether it's making a sale, whether it's doing your marketing, whether it's doing anything associated with your business, those people need to understand where you are and how you can help them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, here, I'm going to share my screen real quick, add this to the stream so that you guys can see this. So what I've done here, this is just a high level, one-page simplified business plan. And these are just different sections, again, high level, but some questions that every company, every brand is, they need to consider in order to fully develop their business plan. So the two areas that I'm going to focus on today, from a marketing and associating it back with your business goals, are highlighted here. So the annual business goals, what are the top 3 ways that you will impact your business this year? When will each be achieved and by whom? And then what is the plan for each one? You can see here competitive analysis, your target market, who are you targeting? And then, of course, the marketing plan. Now, I talk about also on different occasions about the marketing and sales plans being combined. As we know, as business owners, the sales plan, depending on what type of business you're in, that can go in a different direction with your sales numbers and just what you're tracking and who's tracking it. So it can be kind of difficult. But the key there is to have that association between what you're doing with your marketing and not only how it's associated with your business goals, but what sales revenue is it also driving. So when you have those two combined, at least in the same document, then you can have that ongoing correlation there so that you can kind of bounce your efforts and your results off in the same place. So you can do that as well. So these are, again, just different questions and stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at a plumbing contractor, and I've taken out just pieces of it just to kind of give a high level overview of this type of business so that we can look at not just the business goals, but then start looking at the marketing that this particular company can start focusing on. And the reason why I'm doing this first is because any marketer will tell you, and I will tell you as well, is that when someone comes to me and says, okay, I need help with marketing, can you do this for me? And there's no details behind it. It's always it depends, because not every single marketing strategy, not every single marketing plan is going to be the same. So it's not a way to just say, I'm going to stall and I'm going to try and figure things out, or I'm just going to give you the same approach that everybody else is going to give you. It really does depend on so many other factors. So if we use this business, a plumbing contractor in Cincinnati, Ohio, and even compare it to other plumbing contractors in Cincinnati, Ohio, yes, they're in the same business. They may be targeting the same market, but what they bring to the table is going to be different. And they're also focusing on different things. So you have brand ABC and you have brand XYZ. Even the names are different. So it's always looking at what is it that you're trying to accomplish in your business. And then if you're going to be investing your marketing dollars in certain ways, what are you expecting to get in return? And there's a lot of questions that go behind the scenes to understand what those really are. And again, because of the timing and the venue in which I'm doing this, I'm keeping it extremely high level, but it's a way to kind of put some perspective into why it's important to have marketing associated with your business goals, but then also why you might get it depends response from anyone in the marketing area. So before I go in here, I'm just going to go over here real quick and just make sure I haven't missed any questions. Moderators, thank you. Why couldn't I think of that name? Thank you. I've got all you guys on board. I need to do this myself. Awesome. Well, hopefully this will help you. So I appreciate that. Hopefully it will. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to maximize this screen so that you guys can see that more. That is more important than seeing my face at this point. So if we look at the business goals, in this particular business, they want to maintain the company focus on exceeding customer expectations. So this company is very much focused on exceeding customer expectations. They don't want to just deliver, they want to over deliver, and they want to be memorable. So they want that to be one of their top goals. And I'll get into that here in a minute, and you can see why it's important to them. They want to achieve $620,000 in sales revenue, but they want it split 70-30 between new build or new home construction and then homeowner, just like repair type or new additions onto their house or whatever. And then the third one is sustain existing business. So they want to have less than 5% loss. They want to keep the existing customers that they have, but they're also being realistic that they are going to lose some customers just because it's the nature of the business. People move, new people move in, they have somebody else they want to use or somebody else was recommended. So that is just going to be a byproduct of any of us really being in business. But they do want to create growth in 3 surrounding areas. So not just in Cincinnati, but 3 of the suburban areas as well. So they are going to be focusing on that. Like I mentioned, the 2 segments are custom home builders and homeowners. The services that they have are, they're the finest in new residential plumbing. Residential, the reason why they want to focus on 2 different segments is really because of how they're generating that revenue. It's all about, let me try and go back over here. It's all about, how are you going to maintain this revenue? If you've got a way of getting it at a higher profit through bidding on new home construction bids or deals, then you're going to want to focus more on that because, as he had said, that it's new home construction, it's planned, it's more accurate financials, and there's fewer contractors involved in the bidding process. So if they have 70% of their business there, then they can kind of step back on the emergency service of the 24/7. So really it's a matter of just how do you want to manage your business and where do you want to put your time and your team's focus that's going to be best for the business, maintain those goals that you have, the image that you want to continue to share with your market, but then also grow your business if that's one of the goals, which in this case it is. And then residential, just because they don't want to miss out on that opportunity. There's a ton of homeowners in those areas. So they know that if the homeowner is going to need some type of plumbing work, they want to be there, at least for now, and have that be like 30% of their business. So what they're looking at is the uniqueness. And this goes back to maintaining company focus on exceeding customer expectations. Their uniqueness is professionalism. And I don't know about you, but when you think of plumbing contractors, professionalism may not be one of the top things that you're thinking of. Their overall appearance, how they present themselves, how they follow up, their communication skills. So there's all these pieces that are very important to this company, and they want to make sure that they're withholding that. So, and because that's absent with most plumbers, they're going to bid on projects that they know that they can handle and that's going to be able to withhold that image that they want to continue to portray. So they also, professionalism to them also is that they're only going to bid on projects that they know they can handle. Apparently there are contractors out there who bid on everything and causes problems because then they bid on something, they win too many projects, but then they have to back out of some. So as you can imagine, that's not very professional because it just means that you don't know how to operate your business effectively and you're not real good at time management. So it doesn't set a real positive precedence with whomever you are working with. So they don't want to overbid or set themselves up to fail or look bad. So they would just want to make sure that they can bid on what they can actually take on. The other piece is trim quality, which I thought this was very interesting because I didn't think of trim quality, especially in new home construction, as like being the trim that you have around, the base of your walls, where the carpet or the flooring meets the walls. But this is the part of the plumbing that's visible to the homeowner, which, a lot of us may not even give a second thought to. But if he wants to grow his business or have 70% of his business focused on home builders, new home construction, that's a very important part of their process. Apparently, home builders are impressed with high quality trim work because it lessens the possibility of anything needing to be fixed later on, which apparently the home builders are responsible for. So that is going to be a huge key differentiator for them and something that when they're doing their marketing, it's going to be important that they convey that in their messaging when they're trying to work with home builders. So just looking at some of the competition, they've got chain dealers. Here's the reason why, there's private people out there doing that as well who do a wide range of service, not just plumbing, not just specific to new home construction, but they have no specialization. So it's competition. It's good to be aware of who those people are and what they can offer so that you can make sure that you're staying in your lane, essentially, to share, here's where I focus and here's why you should choose me. if you're specializing in something, then make sure that that's part of your overall messaging. And then, of course, your large commercial residential, which I'm just calling them the local McDonald's of the plumbing world. You've got them everywhere. And there's benefits to them. And then there's also, cons to doing work with those type of companies. And buying habits, of course, is extremely important here. It's all based on relationships, especially when you're working with home builders. If you're trying to work with different home builders who have a new land that they're developing and they've won that contract to, be the sole builder on that property, then that's going to be an important relationship that you want to have so that when they're contracting out that work, if you're that person that's top of mind and you've delivered constantly great work and you followed through on everything that you did, then that's something that's going to be important in those relationships. So that's going to be important in the marketing because that's going to have to be part of that communication process. So they're going to look at that as, something that's extremely important. So let me go back here real quick and then I'll go back to the full screen. So if the builder's looking at that, looking at a project or two first to see their work, that's something that they'll do first. Is if they're going to work with a new plumber, they're going to want to see some of their work first. And actually, instead of do a long-term contract or commitment, they're going to see a couple of jobs first and just look at that entire process before they'll actually commit to anything longer term. So looking at their goals and just some of these other pieces that I pulled off, obviously I've gone, in different directions than just the business and the marketing, but I think all the other parts are important to look at when you are doing your marketing. So hopefully you guys agree with me on that one. So marketing plan, what he has currently is networking. And of course, that's going to take on a whole different way of doing that because the way he had looked at it is networking with people in person. And that obviously it's starting to happen a little bit more, at least here in Ohio, but can't happen the way that it's been happening in the past. So he's going to leverage his work, his experiences, and he's going to look at how he can have more conversations through home builders associations, which I think they have those in all states. I'm not sure what it's like internationally for those of you who are watching, over the pond. But that's where all the home builders are. So it's a great way to be connected to land developers too, residential land developers, and start building those relationships. So of course, you're going to need to be a part of those. So he's going to need to start working on that reputation and just, working his relationship into those conversations and start seeing how he can get at least one or two jobs with different ones so they can see the professionalism, they can see how they work, they can see the trim quality and all those characteristics that are unique to them and are important for him in growing his business. So marketing, of course, and networking is a critical piece of that, which we don't typically think of when we think of marketing, but we are all individual brands. And if we're working with a company, then we're also we're two brands. We're our own personal brand, but you could also be representing somebody else. So those networking opportunities are going to be important in understanding what message are you going to convey? What do you want to accomplish with those one-on-one meetings? And just better understand who those players are in the room or online in the Zoom room. That's how that's going to happen. And just understand, what the goal is of those conversations and what the message is and how you want to connect with them. And then ultimately where you want to go with that conversation or that individual after the fact, because it's not going to stop there. So just understand what the overall plan is for that. So, and that's going to help with hitting that 70% of the business objective. And eventually, that's going to be a longer term commitment. It's going to take a while to start hitting that 620,000 goal that he has. But that's why he wants to focus on that 30% with the local homeowners, because that's going to be something that's going to help achieve that revenue goal. And that's where the marketing is going to come more into play with some of those things that we're probably more familiar with, like Facebook ads and just having a Facebook page and the overall messaging there. So, and that's going to come into play as well as not just with Facebook, but looking at a plumbing contractor. Contractors typically are in the field, meaning they're always, on a job site. They're working with individuals. They're in their car, their truck. And they're not going to be sitting at a computer like I am right now and figuring out, what's my Facebook ad going to look like? Where do I want to place it? And how do I come up with a very strategic message to, hit those people who are on Facebook in these new areas that I want to expand to? So they're going to need other people to do that. Now, they may have somebody on staff to do that, or they may just want to outsource, get some ideas, do it temporarily, or whatever that may be. But, for me to win this work, then I need to understand some of those other components. It's not just saying, okay, I know how to create a Facebook page for any business. I know how to create a Facebook ad. That's very surface level. It's very shallow thinking, and it's not thinking at a deeper level as to how can I help you grow your business. Knowing all of these other key components is very important to the marketing that you're doing, because you're marketing your investment into achieving a particular goal. So with the Facebook ads, focus in this example, of course, I'm just using this as an example. There's a plethora. See, I could remember that word, right? But there are so many different ways that you can market and advertise your brand that there's an infinite number of combinations as well. But this is one that he had been doing and wanted to continue to do. So in doing that, going ahead and taking out ads to target those specific areas and really looking at the analytics of what's worked in the past and what needs to be reevaluated or revisited, or even the ads they've done before. What are we going to do with those? We're going to just repurpose them? Do we need to update them? And what I can see right now, based on kind of going back over this to the not just the goals, but the uniqueness, the professionalism, and the trim quality. Those are two things that you can show. The professionalism you can show through user reviews, right? So you can ask past customers to go to Facebook. If you're on Angie's List, you go to Google, somewhere leave a review. And that needs to be part of the overall process. So when I talk about your marketing from awareness to retention, the reviews are given after the job is done, right? So you've made the sale, which is great, which is where most people stop the marketing think, is at the sale. But in this case, the sale happens, but you haven't done the job yet, or maybe you've only paid for half of it and then you're paying for the other half after the job's done, depending on how that, what arrangement you've worked out. But a lot of times that review is going to be critical after the fact, right? So that's when you're going to want to retain that person as a customer, and why I talk about marketing being so important in the overall process. You haven't just won them as a customer, but that review is something that you're going to need to help win and gain more customers. So getting their permission, of course, with that review, you can then use that information in an ad on Facebook, or you can use it in an ad on Google, or if you're on Instagram, wherever you're going to be, you can take that testimonial and create, like I've talked about before with Canva, which I think was a while ago. I showed how you could very easily and very creatively make a nice, simple, user-generated testimonial on there that you can then use anywhere. So it's important to get those reviews and use them in your marketing and show the professionalism. Ask them to focus on those pieces that you want them to. If you're asking them for a review, hey, can you tell me about, how I appeared, or how I worked with you, or how I communicated with you, those pieces that you may want to incorporate when they write the review. And then it's focused on those things that are separating you apart in your overall uniqueness. The trim quality is going to be more important with the, homeowners. We're like, trim quality, what? That's going to be more important with the home builders. So that's going to be when you're starting to win these jobs. That's when, as a plumbing contractor or the owner of the company, I'm going to want to take a look at, what am I working with to start with? What was I given as this project? So that'll be your before. Even if there's nothing there, if it's blueprints, or if you want to show like a previous job, here's what I've done in the before. And then you do your work and you're focused on the trim quality. Even if you want to do a picture behind the scenes, behind the wall, which we can't see, and then a view, of what you can see as a homeowner or as a home, builder once the walls are up, and show that. And then why is that important? It's a reflection of your work. It's also a reflection of what's behind the wall that you can't see. So when you use like before and after pictures, that's something that you can also use in your marketing. And when we go back to the business goals, we can look at just those examples that I just talked about. To maintain the company focused on exceeding customer expectations, customers probably don't expect them to walk in professional, have, that communication. Maybe they're over communicating and keeping them updated on a project, and doing something different. Like if it's going to take longer than a day, like a room addition would, maybe you've agreed to text updates, or if there's been a delay in something, text updates on what that delay is. That type of stuff goes a really long way. So if you're doing things that are going above and beyond what your customers would expect, that's what you want to capture, and not only show that, hey, this is how I'm meeting this particular business goal, but this is why these homeowners or why these home builders want to do business with us. And the same thing with you and your businesses is that's why it's understanding what makes you unique, what makes you different. If it's something like that, understand, two things that makes you unique. We're all in areas where there are competitors. And I just know from who's here right now that, we're all in areas where there's other people doing what we do, but they don't do it how we do it, and they don't do it why we do it. So those are the things that you need to focus in on, even if you need to do something like this and just kind of like, spell it out like this. I mean, it's just a couple of pages. Very quick typing. It's not anything fancy. It's in Word. You just type it out, and then look at what you're doing with your marketing and determine, is what I'm doing with my marketing supporting why I'm different, why people choose to do business with me? Is it also supporting my business goals? If you have more than 3, or if you just have 2, even if you have 1, make sure everything that you're doing with your marketing is not only generating sales, which is the ultimate goal, right? That's what keeps us in business, but it's also achieving those other goals. Like, the number 1 here is focused on exceeding customer expectations. It's not a financial goal. It ties in indirectly, but it's something that's extremely important to them, and why it's listed as number 1. So making sure that all of the marketing activities that you're doing, whether it's on Facebook or it's in-person networking, when we can do that again, that it's supporting that. And sustaining existing business, less than 5% loss. That just kind of goes into that whole like follow through process that I was talking about. If you say you're going to do something, do it. You're following through, over deliver. Those are the things that are going to keep your customers, and they're going to want to call you again. Now, obviously a homeowner, plumbing contractor, a lot of times those are just, one-offs. But if you're in a house that is older and it's going to need additional work, if you do a great job the first time, those people are going to contact you again. And that's the kind of stuff that you want to include in your marketing as well. So hopefully that is being helpful. I know I'm talking super fast, but I like to keep these to, like 30, 40 minutes. And I hope that was helpful. I'm going to expand this again, just so you guys can see that more than you can see me. And I'm going to go through here and see if there are questions so that I can make sure that I am answering them. Let me see here. I'm going to go back up. Moderator. Yep. Okay. So this is a great example. I think that was the last one I did. So many people forget to set goals for their marketing. They just start throwing things out there. Yes, exactly, Diana. They really do. Setting goals is it's how we, monitor what we're doing. It's how we can create a path for all of our efforts, instead of just, going out there willy-nilly and just, starting to do stuff like you said. Oh, you're welcome, Consultant Blind Guy. Thank you for being here again. Hopefully this is helpful. Interesting. Eric, good morning. So got some more mornings going on. Thank you for being here, Solar Gravity. Who I learned his name is Eric. We connected on LinkedIn as well. Case studies are so helpful. They are so helpful. And case studies are awesome pieces. If you look at your customer journey and just mapping out those different customer touch points, when you have case studies, knowing which step in that process, presenting a case study is most effective. Now, of course, if somebody's just starting to become aware of who you are, they're not ready for a case study yet, right? So that's why it's important to map out your customer journey so that you understand where they're at in their buying process, and that your case studies are there at that point, so that you can deliver them, or at least present them to them at that point. I've been doing everything solo and we'll create a better system soon, or I'm going to be spread thin across all my platforms and niches. Yeah, that's something that we all get into. So I think, Consult a Blind Guy, it's good when you can do everything yourself initially until you get to that point where you're just like, okay, I can't do all this now. Because then at least you know the expectations and all of the different categories, whether it's marketing, it's creating your own business plan, the sales, so that when you start bringing people on, then you can start training and coaching them to continue carrying out those channels that they're going to be leading, while you focus on increasing your business. Reviews and testimonials are so valuable. They really are. They're doing the marketing for us, right? You've got to get your community to do that. Yeah, if you can. And what I've done in the past is, if there was someone that I had a great relationship with, and we had a great job that was done, and sometimes I forget to get testimonials. What I will do is, and I know that they're busy, right? So you can ask once and say, hey, can you give me a testimonial, or can do a review on Google, Facebook, Yelp, wherever. But if they don't respond or don't have time, then draft something for them. This works so well because it not only shows that you're going above and beyond, but you're giving them something to work with. So you can draft it up, and then of course say, here's what I think based on this project or this job or this, repair work that we did. Here's what I saw as the positive. Now, of course, in this situation with home buyers, I don't know that would be, but like B2B with me, I would do that. And just kind of draft it up and say, can you please edit it? And then if you want me to revise it, send it to you for final approval, then we can do that as well. So you're giving them something to work with. And a lot of times that's easier than saying, here's a blank sheet of paper. Can you create it yourself? I know you're extremely busy, but this is important to me. You can see the difference there, right? So you're just helping out. You're making that process easier. Plethora. Awesome. I'm not the only one who does that. Of course, I can remember that one, but not moderator. All right, you needed to make that into a worksheet. Yeah, I should, right, Diana? And I make it available for everybody else. As a segment manager of a larger company, I think there are ways to apply these concepts to just our division. Awesome. Yeah, I think so too. Business plans can actually be available for each division, right? So you have an overall corporate business plan. But then each division, if you've got a separate segment that's important, like Matt, I know that you do, then that is something that would be important to have for your particular division and the goals that you're trying to achieve within your team. So yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you. You guys are awesome. Hey, let me know if you guys have had any trolls. Yeah, definitely. Send me a connection request for LinkedIn. Post the business plan as an example in the chat notes. Okay, yeah, definitely. Let me, my computer now is saving everything to the cloud. So you know what I'll do is I'll put a link in the comments after I'm done. Well, let me see if I can do it real quick. I know it's on my computer though. I'll do that. I'll put it out on Dropbox, and then I will put a link in the comments, and then you guys can access it that way. I apologize. I should have done that ahead of time, right? I usually think of these things. All right. That's what I have today. Do you guys have any questions for me? If you do, leave them in the chat. Again, if you're watching the replay, leave them in the comments. If you're here right now in the live chat, give me a thumbs up or some type of emoji, your favorite emoji, that if this was helpful. Even if it wasn't, give me the thumbs down. I'm okay with that. That just lets me know that there's some opportunities to improve, right? Any feedback is good feedback, in my opinion. So yeah, no trolls today. Awesome. Diana, maybe that list of words and going through that process that you helped me with on YouTube it worked. Hopefully, right? They tried to get in. They did not succeed today. Yeah, but I will definitely put this out there. I'm going to be doing a video that'll be released tomorrow, and it's going to be talking about it's going to be talking about 5 important marketing metrics that we all need. It's more mathematical. I know I did that before. I think it was in step 6 of creating content for the customer journey when I was talking about customer acquisition costs, CAC, and then also lifetime value. So those, well, CAC's not included in that one, but lifetime value is, but then there's some other calculations that are going to be included in that as well. So that's what's going to be posted tomorrow. So if you're interested in those metrics and just how to keep track of those, it will be available tomorrow. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and you will get notified. Here's what I found out about the notifications when you subscribe to a channel is that even if you're not logged into YouTube, which most of us aren't at the time, when you do go into YouTube, you will get the little indicator, like how many new notifications that you have. And even if you've clicked on it and seen it once, it will continue to be there. So it's a constant reminder that, hey, you've got these new notifications out there. So I do that with Diana, who's here right now, and Consult a Blind Guy. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if I should click on this. Sorry, I need my glasses on. Blind Guy boosting engagement. Thank you for being here, Raven. Raven's video one. Thank you. Blacklist. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Matt, for giving me the thumbs up. I'm glad that this was helpful. Diana, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Consult a Blind Guy. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I'm glad that this was helpful. If there are particular topics that you want me to cover, I'm always open because I'm here to help you. So if there's something that you would like me to dive into or something that you're curious about, or if there's something you just want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to do so. So leave that in the chat if you're here live. If not, and you're listening to or watching the replay, leave them in the comments. I'm always open to entertaining new topics as well. So as long as it's going to help you. Again, that's my goal here. I'm here to help you guys. So, all right. Well, thank you again so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to hit a goal this week or by the end of the month of 100 subscribers. That's going to be huge for me. So I think I'm only 6 away right now. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help me out. Help a marketer out. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you again next week, which is what day? Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Until next time, make today great.